Support for this podcast comes from NetSuite. NetSuite lets you run your business from your phone, so you can see what's going on with your company in real time. Go to netsuite.com/podcast to get your free guide and find out why NetSuite is the last business system you'll ever need.
The following advertisement has been paid for by the big guy Ryback. Are you hungry? You know I'm so hungry, big guy. Hey, Mark, what brings you here? So I'm just here to hang out with my all-time favorite superstar of all time. What brings you here? Well, I'm doing a paid advertisement for Feed Me More Nutrition, available at feedmemore.com. Big guy, that is music to my ears. Did you tell the people about your Ice So Hungry grass-fed whey protein isolate, the best tasting protein on the market? Wake Up Unlimited Energy, the strongest pre-workout on the market, and the big guy all-natural testosterone booster, my personal fave. Big guy, you're on to something with this Feed Me More Nutrition. It is some top quality stuff. Well, thank you, Mark. It is Feed Me More Nutrition, premium quality, the highest quality supplements on the market today. Available now at feedmemore.com. But wait, there's more. Just for being a listener of Conversation with the Big Guy, you can now save 10%. That's right, save 10% at feedmemore.com on all Feed Me More merchandise and apparel and Feed Me More Nutrition with discount code PODCAST10. 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 Thank you, guys.
Ladies and gentlemen, and right now, I'd like to introduce...
Whoa. A guy who lost his smile. A guy who took his brain and walked away from millions of dollars. He hails from Sin City. Damn it! That's enough for you two! Shut up! You're I think he said we're fired. Shut up! Pat, slap my ass! It's time for Conversation with the Big Guy, pal!
Welcome to Conversation with the Big Guy. I'm the big guy, Ryback, and I'm sitting here with the one Pat Buck.
Yes, I'm Pat Buck, and you're on another sad edition of Conversation with the Big Guy.
Just sad and depressed. God, I don't even know what to say. I don't even want to plug anything. I just want to. Can I just drink and let you just say whatever you want to talk about, and I'll chime in with an aggressive, violent message from time to time.
Yeah, I have a lot of notes for this show. I've prepared. I had my big carbohydrate night. I'm amped up, so I'm not feeling that blue. And by blue, I mean Blue Apron, the #1 fresh ingredient and recipe service in the country. Their beef, their chicken, their pork. It comes from responsibly raised animals.
What does that mean? Responsibly raised animals. Not to throw you off.
I'm going to assume that they're kind of... I don't know what that means, man.
I believe that they're just treated the right way.
Is it like no cages, like free range kind of thing? You know what I mean?
Yeah, or the farmer doesn't go out there and beat the shit out of them before they throw them in the slaughterhouse. I don't know.
Or maybe these animals aren't on steroids. They're just kind of raised healthily.
Yeah.
Healthy.
Okay, I'm just checking.
All right. I'm just reading off the read here,
Sorry.
pal.
Just depressed and want to get drunk really fast.
Those who spend a lot in restaurants or at high-end grocery chains can now spend under $10 per person for a delicious meal. Their featured meals coming up, you might like some of these. Beef teriyaki stir-fry with some sugar, snap peas, and lime rice. Not too bad. 3 cheese and baby broccoli stromboli with tomato and oregano dipping sauce. Crispy
Feed me more.
Crispy salmon and roasted potato salad with pickled mustard seeds and crumb fraiche sauce. I can't pronounce these things.
I love
crumb
pickles.
From Fresh Sauce. So what you guys need to do, go to blueapron.com/conversations with an S, not conversation.
Why the
conversation
fuck
with an
does
S.
everybody have conversations? Holy shit. It's Conversation with the Big Guy. Everybody out there listening, all advertisers, Conversation with the Big Guy. There is no goddamn fucking S in my show. Sorry, continue.
Blue Apron's freshness guarantees promises. Oh, they promise that every ingredient delivery arrives ready to cook, or they'll make it right. You will love how good it feels, how it tastes, to create incredible home-cooked meals with Blue Apron. So don't wait. BlueApron.com/conversations.
I love Blue Apron. I have nothing against them. I've had the meals, and it brings families together. That's what it does. So, create good memories with your family with Blue Apron.
Great service. Okay, now we're here.
Or in your single studio apartment all alone and depressed and just drunk and high, and you just need something to eat for a cheap price. Blue Apron. BlueApron.com/conversations with an S.
All right. So you don't have any plugs?
No, I do. I have my entire list. I just, it's good to switch things up from time to time. We always stick to the format. So, guys, for all fan mail, please send it to P.O. Box 752740, Las Vegas, Nevada, 89136. I actually got to go swing by the old P.O. Box tomorrow and get back to some fan mail. I haven't been over there in a couple weeks, so with everything going on with his shoulder, so I anticipate that box is going to be full. It always is. I thank you guys. I try to get back to every single one of you and sign your cards, as long as you don't send me like 20 of them. But I usually get back. If you send one or two, I'll sign those for you. And thank you very much, guys. Feed Me More Nutrition is available on feedmemore.com, allpumpyouup.com, and Spartan Nutrition in Las Vegas. Save 10% on feedmemore.com with the discount code podcast10. And if you check out any of my social media platforms right now, Ryback22 on Twitter, the big guy Ryback22 on Instagram, which we'll talk about that little debacle earlier this week, and Ryback247 on Snapchat. I also have some really good specials going on feedmemore.com. Buy one protein, get the second protein half off. Buy 3 Big Guy Test boosters, get the 4th bottle free. And buy any Wake Up Unlimited Energy pre-workout and get a free heavy-duty Feed Me More Nutrition shaker bottle. All at feedmemore.com, guys. So check those out. They have the discount codes available on the website, and you will not need to be disappointed. Wake Up, It's Feeding Time, the motivational book by the big guy Ryback, available on Amazon in paperback, Kindle, and Audible form. I appreciate your Amazon reviews, guys. So check that out. That is out there, and that is my baby. The new Ryback Feeding Time 2.0 theme song that none of my independent promotions play, which we'll talk about the last one, not playing a theme song at all. But that is available now on iTunes. Feedmemore.com for everything the big guy Ryback and Conversation with the Big Guy. This podcast you are listening to, soon to be on another network. Please review, share, and share with your friends. And that's all I got this week.
All right, foreshadowing. Upcoming shows. We just passed, let's see. Okay, June 3rd, CreatorProWrestling.com. A little confused. I have a show coming up, and I hope it does well. I'll probably talk about it next episode, but it already happened since we release on a Monday. CreatorProWrestling.com, June 3rd in St. James, Long Island. Come out and see us. I'll be on the card, as will many others. June 10th, BigWrestleProOnline.com. Whole bunch of stuff going on there. June 10th, also shout out to the podcast, the High Spot podcast, Brian and Jeff Berga, who are sponsors of the Wrestle Pro show. June 10th. Just want to give you a quick shout out. And I think that's all. If you want to be a wrestler, Creator Pro Wrestling. I have plenty of stories coming up. People were interested in that, about people that email me wanting to be a professional wrestler, and some of the good ones and some of the not so good ones. So that'll be a new little thing we do on the old show.
Oh, wow.
But that's all I got.
And for the High Spot guys, I bought all my elbow and knee pads from them years ago. I bought everything they had, the Trace ones. I'm a big Trace guy. And
that's High Spots. Yeah, that's a different High Spot. But that company.
Well, that fucking ruins what I was going to say. All right, God damn it.
No, you might as well.
No, well, I was going to say they could repay you throwing them a shout out on the podcast by sending me any wrestling DVDs that they wanted, so that I could add to my collection. But it's
actually they should. Hey, Michael from High Spots, who I just bought. I bought new padding for my ring, and I still owe him a lot of money. We can trade for a podcast advertisement.
Or I'll take a free ring for my backyard, whatever the fuck you want. I mean,
16 foot.
So I could work on my power bombs. Have the neighborhood.
I wanted to get in. Addressing a couple things last week, a lot of feedback across the board. Our idea came truthful. We officially have we might need some firework music or celebratory music right here, Eddie. Our idea, which we will take as our own, even though I'm sure other people have thought about it, but we've officially have our first blonde ref with tits, big tits, hired by the WWE.
Somebody messaged me this week on that. Is that a legit thing?
An independent, I know of her. I think she might have wrestled for my women's promotion once in the past. I don't really necessarily remember. Kennedy Brink was hired by WWE apparently as a referee. So they had a female wrestler.
What's her name again?
Kennedy Brink.
Congratulations, Kennedy Brink. That is, man, we are making progress here. I picture Vince listening to this in Stamford or wherever he lives. Is he Greenwich? I don't even know. But
I don't know.
I picture him. I mean, what else at this point is going on? Definitely listening every week. Man, it's good to have influence.
And she's a lovely lady. It just popped me. I was like, oh, wow, it really is a pretty blonde girl. That's cool.
Is she, I wonder how big her tits are.
I don't know. She seems lovely, though.
I'm kidding, but I'm not. That was part of the requirements.
We also had a lot of feedback on the greatest fat guys of all time that we missed out on a couple people. A lot of people asking, and it just slipped our mind, and I think for a good reason that, why Dusty Rhodes wasn't on the list.
I saw somebody mention that, and when I saw that, I go, wow, not even once did that. It wasn't that I don't know if I could even, when I was thinking fat guys, I was thinking I don't know why I was thinking really fat guys. And you talked about Stan Hansen, and I said I don't think that kind of meets the requirements. And
I thought about that too.
I don't know if Dusty just subconsciously, for me personally, just didn't come into my mind. I think I was just going, to the extreme. And but yeah, I don't know. I mean, it depends on, everyone has a different definition of fat. So
yeah,
but
I also think that when I think of him, I think a lot of people just think of the wrestler, his impact in creative and behind the scenes, and all the stuff he was involved in, commentary. He was, I don't know, he was almost bigger than just being that performer. I feel
and
and
I knew him from my entire time, pretty much in developmental and dealing with him. And he created Skip Sheffield outside of the name, but that was his idea initially to switch from Ryback to that. And I just. I don't know. It was my experiences with him just didn't come into my mind. So sometimes that was our list. Everyone has their, if you have your fat guy list, go ahead and send them in.
Yeah. So how's your week going?
I put away the gun and took out a knife instead. I'm just torturing myself at this point.
Now, is it the working out thing? Is that playing a big effect on you? You think it's got to be?
I think. Well, it definitely isn't helping, because that is that, and if I'm really stressed out with something going on, and you go and you get a great weightlifting session in, it just relieves stress. And then on top of that, I would go do boxing or Muay Thai, just something to just release aggression. And I can't really do that. I can't do that right now. I can do the elliptical and some Stairmaster, and in my shoulder rehab exercises with my little 3 and 4 pound pink and purple dumbbells, and my shoulder's feeling great. But I'm kind of just it really, I feel better every day. I feel really, really good. So I'm just kind of waiting. But everything, and then hopefully the Amazon thing is still ongoing, and Instagram, I got kicked off there for 4 days. So
it just seems like there's something haunting, there's something, an invisible force kind of working against you on all cylinders right now in this point in time.
Vince Senior is just fucking wreaking hell on my life right now. Everything has remained. I always am positive on everything and make the best of everything. But it's just I'm man, a lot of the problems that have come up around me are from people not doing their jobs. And but it's just and the quote I'm going to say today on the old tips of the week, I always just think it's my responsibility though still, even if other people fuck up or other people, whatever it is, that's why I've had success in my life, because I like having control in different things and whatnot. But I'm doing everything that I could do to make everything right, to do everything to get back on Amazon here. And I'm supposed to be receiving a phone call here from the highest level of Amazon to get this thing worked out and whatnot. But it's just like in the Instagram thing, I don't even know what happened on there. They just disabled my account. And it's probably someone, there's different things that could happen. Like someone could report you for spam or like you think, you look at over 1 million followers, you know, they don't really necessarily look at the accounts. And then there was no communication for 4 days, which I've been told for Instagram to get a response and get back on 4 days is really good, supposedly. But I don't. It's 4 days I'm not on there, and just with my business and everything, all that stuff.
And did you make a new account just in case?
Just in case, I made the big guy Ryback just as a backup. Yeah, because I didn't know. In my head, I'm thinking like, you know, the worst, that like if this account is gone, you know, I'm starting all over and whatnot. It just as far as on Instagram, and I have my other accounts and everything, but it's, you know, you work hard for that following, and like it doesn't reoccur or reappear overnight and whatnot. So, and that's like that stuff has helped me tremendously in everything I got going on, and letting people know what I'm doing and promoting the supplement brand and Feed Me More nutrition and all that. So it's but luckily that all got worked out. That was some good news. Woke up yesterday, that account was back. And again, it's just like I've been on the phone with Amazon pretty much every day. I'd be lying to you if I said it wasn't stressful. Like it's fucking stressful. So just it's a lot of the same things, repeating myself and resending document after document after document. And I don't need anybody on social media to send anything to Amazon. I saw a few people trying to do that, and it's like we got everything covered, communicating with them. And it will be worked out eventually. It's happening to a lot of people, supposedly. So supplements will eventually be back up and running, and I'll be available globally. It's just not right now. It's just taking way longer. We're going on over 5 weeks now. So it's I've lost. We've estimated based on the sales from the. I think I was on Amazon for 11 or 12 days before we had to resubmit everything. And paying for their fee they wanted, and that's not taking into account the global and like Canada and Europe, because I got approved for all that. So like I don't know what my sales would have been over there, but it would have been decent because the United States sales have been tremendous. It's estimated just in the United States that I've probably lost close to $20,000, if not more, in sales. Yeah, so it's not. If you say that like it's. 20,000 is 20,000. That's a lot. That's a lot of money, and it's not money I'm using. It's my business money, but it's money that I don't have for my business right now. And it's just like I've worked really hard to make this successful, and it's just like, come on, like help me out, guys. Let me just do what I'm doing, and so. But it'll get worked out, and hopefully I won't have to use this knife on myself.
All right. Speaking of that, what about wrestling appearances? You had one last week, right? Were you Tennessee?
Oh, good old Tennessee.
Interesting attire, I noticed. Did we talk about what you wear at the signings? Or was that just me and you talking about that?
No, just me and you talking about that. I'm still in the... So I have not worked out over 6 weeks now as far as weights. And anybody that knows anything about like working out, and like after like a period of like a couple weeks... you start feeling flat, and like I'm doing cardio. I do an hour of cardio every day. My weight's still in the 270s, but I just don't feel. I always want to be Ryback on my everything. Like I don't want to go. I don't want to go to an appearance and like in my head I'm thinking like this guy. Like I thought he was like about 15 pounds heavier or 20 pounds heavier, and like it's just me being ultra sensitive to the subject. Realistically, are people thinking that? Probably not. But there will be one girl or an old lady or a guy that will, oh, man, you thought you were a little bigger, huh? And give me the elbow. Oh, sorry. Had shoulder surgery, asshole. But it's, so I wear my jeans, Harley jeans, Harley boots with a Feed Me More shirt and the old leather, one of the leather jackets, in which.
And how hot How hot is it there?
Tennessee was pretty hot, in which my entire outfit was drenched in sweat by the time I was done with my meet and greet. I felt like I'd went through the old Crocodile Mile slip and slide where you just and then landed in the pool afterwards. And it was such a good feeling to get in the car and just turn the air on full blast when I was done. Like, shirt was like starting to hang on my neck because it was just so heavy from sweat, and I was just like, "Holy shit!" But it's on. You'll see me. My appearance is coming up this week. Leather jacket's gonna be fucking close to June in New York, Georgia, and Pennsylvania. Oh, I had my 3 appearances this week. I didn't plug, which I'll get in at some point. But really unorganized this week. So, but I was just drenched in sweat, and I'll have that jacket on this week at those appearances so Cody Rhodes doesn't make any more smart-ass comments.
I was saying, you're like, man, I'm dying in here. I'm like, you wearing your jacket? You're like, yeah. I'm like, just take it off. You're like, no, I can't. Like, just drenched in sweat.
And people, too, when they see me, they're like, oh, come on, can we get a picture flexing? And like I don't want, like, in my head that picture lives on forever in their family history of photo books. Oh look, they're Christmas 5 years from now. Look, that was me with the big guy Ryback, and so he doesn't look that big, and like that shit goes through my head at a rapid fucking pace. I
bet you it just happened before. I sent you a picture from my wedding when we were bowling. It was me, my brother. There's a bowling alley in the wedding venue that we had for some reason, like a secret bowling alley downstairs.
That was very odd. Yeah, it was just a bowling alley there, but
it was just like an old school like hangout where they just used to bowl in like this beautiful country club. And it was my brother's birthday, and I was like, oh shit, Ryan's in the picture, so I sent it to you. And I had a feeling you're like, oh, I look like a shell of my former self, like, because you were out of surgery then.
That was from the ear and nose, and I was just I remember I think I'd gotten a week of light weights in before that, just to like. They cleared me for some light weights because they didn't want the eardrum to blow out, like, from lifting heavy.
Yeah.
And I remember just, like, being super self-conscious there, like, of just, like, I feel like when people, that's part of the thing when you're in shape, and I'll always be in shape no matter what, but I always just hold myself to high standards. And sometimes you got to, like, did I ever tell you about we'll talk more about this Tennessee appearance, but after the ankle injury, when the ankle, when they flew me back from Hawaii to Tampa, and I got stuck in bed for a month because my leg blew up on the airplane so bad. And I was lying there, and I couldn't eat, and it was literally like a Monster Milk every day, and one of those, when I was still doing the aspartame and sucralose, and I might be able to like make something like a sandwich or something. And like I wasn't getting out of bed because when I got out of bed, all the blood rushed to my leg. And it was just an intense pain, and I couldn't function. The only way the pain would calm down was if I lied in bed with the leg elevator they gave me, and just lay in bed all day, only to get up to piss. Christ. And like getting up to piss, it was just like I could feel the blood rushing, and my leg was broken. It was a horrible experience. And I went from 280 to under 250, maybe 245. If not, maybe even 240. And it's funny because my body, all my proportions stay the same, but I just get smaller it stays the same proportion though, but just a smaller version. And I remember I had to, with the time everyone was training at Rob McIntyre's, that was kind of starting to take off, to get everyone training there as a group. And I just wanted to work out, and at the time, Rob and I was talking to Rob all the time before I eventually had to cut all ties with him because of John. But I put on a big sweatshirt and like sweatpants and went, and I had to go buy a wheelchair. I think I told you this. Probably buy a wheelchair to like, and got the wheelchair to my car, had the crutches on me, got out of the wheelchair, got out of the crutches, put the wheelchair in the back of the car, and then drove out there and then wheelchaired in. And just worked out I think I went there for like a week in my wheelchair and just worked out while like all the guys were in there working out. And like, but just like, I was so self-conscious of like how much weight I'd lost because I couldn't eat. I couldn't eat. When you don't eat,
do anything.
Yeah, it was a horrible. Then I finally had the surgery and whatnot. But man, I lost a lot. So I've been through this. And I'm fine. I've actually held this together really well. It's just, when you can't release that aggression, and it's a whole other thing. Like working out has such a positive influence on my life. So, but hopefully here in the next week or two, I can start back up really light. So,
Good.
I'll be good. But Tennessee appearance was great. They the fans were awesome, and I watched the first half of the show. I missed a couple matches, but we did a meet and greet up front, and then I went back out there. The lights were dark, and I watched a few of the matches, and did a little intermission meet and greet, and then I was able to get out of there, and with my clothes completely drenched and whatnot. But the ring broke before the show, actually, which was
really
the post broke.
That's the worst.
And they were trying to find a welder to come in to weld it, and they ended up fixing it. They couldn't, and so they fixed it some other way. And I don't know how.
Really?
Yeah, but the first. So, what do you think the first match of the show is? The ring broke. They seemed confident that it was going to be all right. The first match, though, is a huge battle royal in which there were a lot of guys. But I told you about this. I sent you a text. It wasn't a regular battle royal. It was...
Well, first off, how big's the ring? Was it 16, 18, 20?
It might have been 18. I'm not...
18?
Honestly, it's just not 20. That's all I know.
Okay.
Yeah, and because I only had a promo segment in it, which I'll talk about in a second. But they did a battle royal where they didn't do over the top. It was pinfalls or submission. Yeah. I've never seen that. Have you?
No, I've never seen that. Sometimes, and I was trying to figure out the reason why. I was like, well, maybe, the house. How was the house? How many people you think were there? Did you get a big crowd out in Tennessee?
The building wasn't. It held. I think it was like for 300 people, and they had 300 people. Like it wasn't.
Okay.
It wasn't like one of those. It wasn't 1,000 people or 3,000 people like Northeast Wrestling. It wasn't that type of event. It was a smaller event. So
really,
yeah.
Okay. So I was just thinking that maybe people want to be in a battle. Not a lot of wrestling going on in that area, and they're in a battle royal, but they want to make it more attractive to people. So we got these pinfall rules, and this person brings a couple people, and you try to squeeze everybody you can on the card. I was just trying to figure out if that was the reason.
Yeah, no, for a battle royal, but I'm talking about for as far as just making it different. Like, why not do the over the top? Maybe that was part. I didn't see anybody go over the top. I thought it was all pinfall.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know. That just seems scary and dangerous as fuck. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It was. I'd never seen it before, so it had to have been an 18-foot ring because they had quite a bit of guys in there at one point. Which I was just thinking the ring. I was like, man, we're gonna find out. My promo segment was right after that battle royal. I was just picturing the ring breaking and like having to go out there and cut a promo in a ring that's just tilted. But you know what? One of the hardest things on the independents is, and this isn't like an insult to anybody, it's because when you're in WWE, you know everybody's name. The independent, there's a lot of guys I've never met before. So like in some of these promo segs that I'm doing or deals involves guys I've never met before, in which this one was one of the guys I'd actually wrestled locally. Wrestled him when I was doing the Ryback versus the locals.
Okay.
Chase Owens. And he's in the Bullet Club now and doing well for himself, I believe. So, like, I was out there to do a thing with him, and Anthony Henry was the other guy. But I'm, like, before the show, like, getting their names. And, like, I always feel bad asking. And, like, it was like, and he said, "Was the name's Anthony?" I go, "Anthony, just Anthony?" "No, Anthony Henry." "Okay." And, like, it's just I get out there and write it on your hand.
I told you write it on your hand like badly and just stare at your hands.
And, yeah, it always gives me trouble. I was fine with it, but I always just it's not. That's one of the. I was like, man, the names are always giving me trouble for some reason. I didn't fuck them up, but I just in my head I'm like they just don't come as easily as I would like.
I've done stuff like that before. I don't have to put up with what you put up with, but there'll be so many things going on show day. I remember last June, I wrestled Jeff Jarrett in a cage match, and I was so concerned about jumping off the top of the cage and just having like and I'm running the show too, but I knew I'm like, okay, I got to cut a promo after. I'll just wing it. And he said something to me first on the microphone, and I said something back along the lines of like, this is New Jersey. It's not fucking Kentucky or something like that. And then I realized, oh shit, Jeff's from Tennessee.
Nashville, right?
And then, yeah. And then I corrected myself. I couldn't let it go. I was like, I just messed that up, guys. He's from Tennessee, and then I just kept continuing on. But
I actually like that. That's pretty good. You should correct you. Like there's nothing wrong with that.
it just I have to. I can't let it go. I'm like, that just happened. Someone's gonna notice this. So, but sounds like a good show. You know what sounds like a great show, or maybe not so great show? There's one happening, I believe, in Scotland, from our old buddy, Mr. I don't know if you want to talk about this.
Oh, I saw that earlier. I sent you a message. Mr. Was the guy that we had the problems with wrestling.
And if you've listened to this show, you can check out the archives. I'm not sure what episode it's on, but
I'm not
we should be a
either.
little more organized. It's somewhere in there. Listen to all of them.
Yeah, just
Find the one where we talk about it's the only
somewhere
booking-
1 through 20, guys. I'm pretty or to make it maybe somewhere 5 through 20
Yeah,
to probably be safe.
it's the only show that I pulled you off because this guy was being a little crazy.
Showed up to one of the events that in England when I was there and just harassing me essentially. And
Yeah.
I'm talking. I treated him beyond well for that. It was just if there was ever a delusional human being, he was one of them, and it was.
And for those that don't know, he runs wrestling in I believe the UK, but I believe it's mostly Scotland. And a thing came out online. Well, beforehand, we had our interesting run with him, but
we pulled up. We paid
before-
back the deposit. We said we can't work for you because he wanted me
Yeah.
to essentially. I think it was the agreement was for one match and this
One match.
and then he tried and they're saying no, you got to wrestle in this tournament 3 or 4 matches or something, right? And
Yep.
and just no, and there was
Yeah.
just going back on his word and. There was it's the biggest tournament in Scotland, and we got a video game. We want to sign you to a huge contract. There is no it's a bunch of bullshit. It's a guy pretending to be Vince McMahon over in Scotland, essentially. Right?
that has money from somewhere, and they have shows over there, but it's a little
Yeah.
weird.
And their
here's
shows,
why.
their
We'll
shows
break it-
may have very well be well. I don't know. I just know from dealing with he just comes off he says one thing and then says another thing, and it's just it was out of all the promoters we've dealt with, he's been by far the worst.
So a thing came out today where apparently he made a $1 million offer for Punk to be on his upcoming tournament thing. I feel like I've heard about this fucking tournament.
How many tournaments? This guy, that's how he fucking runs his tournaments.
It's like Mortal Kombat. I keep hearing about this shit. So $1 million offer or whatever for Punk to take. He probably wants Punk to wrestle 35 times. He didn't.
He didn't put in there. The contract is for 7 years and in 34 tournaments. I don't know. I don't even. I think he's just happy. He's probably jerking off that he's getting mentioned on the podcast right now. It just fucking God. Eddie, we should bleep out the name of his wrestling promotion and his last name so that he doesn't get any credit on this. So please, can we bleep those out? I don't want him to even get that credit for that. But I told you, I go, sign me up. I want to be his first opponent over there. We could right all the wrongs, and my only demand is $1,000,001.
He said something interesting in that though, that he just considered it a success if Punk hears about his offer. It's like
that's a fucking Mark comment if I've ever heard one.
Yeah,
man, I hope he just hears about this offer.
If you have
just think about it.
I want all the other guys that I'm booking to know that I have $1 million. I'll give it to him, but I'm not going to invest.
Rather than put it invest it in my own company and in this huge video game that I've been working on for 24 years. I'm going to throw it all at this guy, or in just hopes that he hears that I offered it to him. So, Punk, Phil, if you're out there listening, just know, bleep that all out, Eddie, offered you $1 million.
All right.
Holy shit. What the fuck is going on?
What else is going on this week in the crazy world of wrestling? SmackDown has decided to air all of whenever they go to commercial break, apparently they're going to be putting picture-in-a-picture commercials. So while the advertisements are happening, SmackDown will remain live in mini screen.
So guys have to now work the match through a break like it's not a break.
Yep.
Because so for people out there listening, because wrestling has been completely exposed now and it's all fake, that when a break comes up, we all love this because we don't do shit during the breaks. And the crowd suffers greatly. I remember me and Kane doing a match and we went to break and the break went way fucking longer. And like, by the way, WWE is really unorganized sometimes on the breaks. And they'll go, yeah, the break will only be about 45 seconds and then because SmackDown used to be taped. So SmackDown breaks were shorter than the Raw 3-minute breaks for live TV. Mm-hmm. And you sometimes would be 45 to maybe a minute. And me and Kane were in the ring and they go, we'll be back in 15. So we're sitting, I got Kane in a fucking rear headlock. And like Kane says, just sit here. We're about to come back. And he was gonna start fighting up as we came back to get there or come into a spot as we come back. And you try to time You have to just time it out based on what they're telling you. And they kept saying 15 seconds like for 4 or 5 times. It passed. We were a 45-second break turned into like 2 or 3 minutes. And we sat in this fucking headlock for probably 3 minutes with no action. It's just 2 big, burly, sweaty guys, me just wrenching it in and him just fucking sitting there selling it because we keep getting told 15 seconds. So
sure.
It's probably my favorite break spot of all time. But normally for everyone out there, like you don't kill yourself during the break. You're not typically doing superplexes and things. You know, you might throw a guy into a barricade and go taunt the crowd for a minute. You're not doing anything crazy. You know what I mean? Because it's not being seen on television, and you build it to where you finally are getting into the action for when you're coming back to TV, or they'll want you to be in the middle of a spot so when TV comes back, the action is going. It always changes. But now you're going to have the little box on this thing, and so you're going to have to treat it as if you're just still live. Yeah. But even though nobody's going to be paying attention to that little goddamn box on the screen. Right. I don't know. Maybe I got to wait and see how big the box is. I got a big TV, so maybe it will be decent sized. I don't know. I just picture
which is interesting because I mean, for the most part, most break spots are when the baby face is in some sort of peril, you know, after a major move or a bump or something, whatever, and
or there'll be a really crazy, stupid dive.
Might as well segue. I have the thing up from this week, which you haven't read yet. You've not.
No,
seen
I don't.
This.
I've not. I saw that Orton. You said something. I'm not. So this will. My first time hearing this, as far as what the details of it.
Okay, so I think we moved on from the SmackDown having the commercial things in.
Well, I didn't really. I mean, I don't. What was your take on it? I'm sure people care about what you think.
No take on it. Just news. You know, It's interesting. I don't know if it's needed or not. I just don't. I kind of get sick that, I don't know, maybe it's overthinking, but does every match really need to have the same kind of, you know, we go to break, babyface in peril? Like, it's almost like if you watch wrestling enough, you kind of know, okay, a commercial part will be here rather than just cutting out.
I think they should cut out to a small box of Vincent Gorilla. Just during the, I want to see. I want to just. You know how many people would just watch Vince just tweeting on his phone, or just fucking sitting there, just
eating a bar,
eating a protein bar, or having a shake. I wouldn't go to the bathroom right there. That's what they should fucking do with it. Like just a shot of Gorilla fucking during the break. That's what I want to see. Who's in?
That would be amazing.
Who's in Gorilla watching this match? And like, you know, during certain segments of guys, you could just. They're like nobody's in there watching, nobody gives a fuck. And then other times when guys are killing it, everybody's in there watching. And Vince is all along on his phone or eating a protein bar or a fucking protein shake with aspartame and sucralose.
That would be great. All right, so this week, the most talked about thing in wrestling, dare I say, on social media, originated from Rip Rogers, who, you know, if you don't know who Rip Rogers is, obviously you probably do if you listen to this show. He was the trainer of developmental, hell of a worker. Dare I say he's the best trainer I ever had. I spent a lot of time, and when I give my, you know, people listen to the show to hear our opinions, so I'll give my, you know, 2 cents on the matter. And I think I can because I spent a great deal of time with Rip. So Rip has always been known. He has, I don't know if you follow him on Twitter.
I used to. I like Rip
Okay.
a lot. Yeah, I think. Yeah, I still might actually. I got to check. I don't
he's
really
the-
read. I don't. I have a lot of people followed on Twitter. I don't like read the. I don't use social media to read what people. Just my personal. I don't like. I just use it for my brand and to promote things and to occasionally put what I'm thinking on there. I try. Occasionally, I'll look at my timeline. I try not to use it to like read what other people are putting because you'll waste Facebook, all that, Instagram. I stay away from. Like I tried it. I just think it wastes time tremendously. But go ahead.
So Rip's Twitter is a Hustler 2754, and Rip's a great trainer. He's been training guys for Lord knows how long. I've gotten a lot from him. His drills are great. His insight is great. He's very opinionated in his own way.
Yeah.
He's an interesting guy. He's done a lot of. He's an excellent trainer, dare I say, and he's trained some of the top names in wrestling. So he likes to kind of put out tidbits of knowledge and tidbits of his opinion from time to time, and they've gotten pretty popular acclaim. And for I think a lot of people know Rip more for his Twitter than for a lot of things lately, just because of the little tidbits of information he puts out there. They're actually very good.
Yeah.
Some of them are very entertaining.
Rip Rogers has a great mind in wrestling.
Great mind,
And
yeah.
I will say from my time, because that period I was at OVW, Ohio Valley Wrestling, I was pretty mentally defeated from the whole Deep South run. And but we'd go to training and we'd have our training and then you'd go eat with the guys and then go work out and then we'd get together and we'd watch wrestling. And that was kind of how it was an all-day job. Like essentially we, like the guys, Cody Cliff and Fearless Jack Bull and Timmy Baltimore. Yeah, we smoked a lot of weed watching wrestling, which I didn't remember any of it, which defeated the purpose of watching it, which and I eventually got fired. But it was an all-day thing as far as it was my life that revolved around wrestling. But my biggest regret, I think, is that I didn't train with Rip Rogers for any significant period of time because I think it would have helped me evolve sooner than I did.
Gotcha.
But
yeah.
I like that, and that is as great of a compliment as I can give to him because I think he understands the fundamentals of wrestling, and he is very old school. And there is a way that in the product does evolve, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. But he's pretty right on with everything that he says, or for the most part.
The thing with Rip that people don't know is that he's not just coming from a standpoint of, giving this outdated opinion. You're talking about a guy who trains guys actively in the ring. Where when I went to Rip's class and I trained with Rip for a full year, 3 days a week, and then after that, when I went to the other class, when I was with Al's class, I would train with Rip maybe once a week, twice a week because I was in the other class, but I would go down because Rip's basics were sometimes in the contract class we'd watch a lot of tape or there's TV days or there was live events, and I knew if I went to Rip's class, you're getting a fucking workout. You're working out in the ring for 3 hours a clip, and not stupid shit. It wasn't like it was all functional wrestling training, which I built the schools I have now on. So, so people hearing Rip's opinion, I think some people, before I read this, because you've never heard this, I want to get your genuine reaction on it. I think people think that maybe he's just kind of being, a calloused old school mind where Rip believes in hard work. He just believes it in his old school fundamental way.
Yeah.
And a lot of people champion what he thinks. I think there's a line in the middle.
Which,
I see
it all
both
comes
ways.
down to selling, by the way. It's
Yeah.
for the majority of this, but go ahead.
Well, you'll like this. So let me just read this because this is your first time hearing this. So Rip tweeted this out, and he said he got it from somewhere else, but he said that he liked it and he loved it. Every indie match is now handshake, drawn out move exchange, this is awesome chant, strike exchange, dive, no sell indie strong style, dive, more strikes, no sells, dive, flippy floppy sequence, dive, hit everyone with each other's finisher, then Humpty Dumpty, we all fall down, fight forever chant, rinse and repeat until every move is useless and means nothing, dive, take unsafe shot that looks like shit and hurts like hell, then roll up finish, handshake and hug after match, everyone's hands raised, all these guys chant, go home and type on social media thanking your opponents and company for the match and telling others they should book these guys, ... dive. So that's what Rip.
100% right on.
100%.
100%. I agree. Independent wrestlers are ruining wrestling. And it's carried over to WWE, and Hunter and Vince have allowed it to, it's controlled much more up there. But this isn't to say every independent wrestler, but and this is one thing, and I've ripped on Cena for the personal things, but the one thing Cena always was really good at was selling the basics really well. One punch and sell it. And and that's something that's a Rip thing. And because if any of those independent guys ever got fucking punched in the mouth, and I don't mean that as a knock independent, that's just where I see a lot of it now because I'm there, and it's running rampant, and it's they've now, and I was talking to one of our other buddies about this, that these guys are killing it for themselves because they're just going to shorten their careers too. They are replacing one bump with 5 or 6 or 7 bumps, and you're fucking stupid, and that's the nicest way to say it. You are throwing out the meaning of one bump for 6 or 7 bumps that won't get the same reaction. And that's just, and I think that's because guys don't know how to sell accordingly, and psychology is off.
Now, whose problem do you think it is that all this is happening? Do you think?
I think WWE shouldn't bring guys in there and push them that do that, but a lot of they tone it back when they get there because they realize that doesn't fly there and stuff. But it still is. They've allowed it to some extent on certain things, and it's not good. I agree with Rip 100%.
Okay, well, let me explain the rest before we give our opinions. This is what happened after
and dives,
that. So
all that shit is cool too. It is awesome to do all that stuff. You don't have to do 100 of them, but the guys don't sell anything. That's the problem. And it's I just watched the match the other day. A guy took a brogue kick to the face to start the match and came right back with a drop kick, and then it was dive, and it was what are you doing? And I equate this to the rule baseball, and I think Vince Russo actually said this before. My buddy JD was telling me about this because I brought up the baseball reference to him, and he goes, "It's funny, you think a lot like Russo said almost the same thing." And I didn't hear this, but I was telling him the game of baseball has been around. The game of baseball was created. They created the rules of baseball. They've evolved the sport, and they've added little things here to make it a little more exciting for fans and this and that. But they haven't flat out just said fuck you to the psychology of baseball, which is what wrestlers are doing now. They're just saying fuck you to psychology of because they've never been in a real fight.
I think that's part of it. Let me get to this before we go off. So Randy Orton read that. He came from Rip, where he was with Rip before he went up there. A lot of the guys like Batista, Brock, you name it, have passed through Rip. And Randy retweeted it. And I think a lot of people kind of came down on Randy. And Randy's response was, because this picked up steam everywhere. People were agreeing with it. Some indie guys were shitting on it, basically saying it's all, if you're making money with it, it's fine. I saw a couple people being very vocal about it. So Randy wrote back, sorry to the indie marks, indie guys, and old timers who do dives took effect. Oh, because there's also words between Bubba put out a thing supporting, kind of going against it, himself jumping off the ropes, and he wrote dive or something.
It's not the dives are fine. The issue's not with dives. It's with no selling. That's the whole issue.
So he wrote, sorry the indie marks, indie guys, and old timers who do dives took offense. Just having a good time over a few drinks in Denmark, closing the SmackDown Live tour, while beating Raw and making over $5 million in the last 11 shows. Now I notice some that doesn't equate to a standing room only crowd of 150 people paying $8 in an armory somewhere, but in the big boy world, that's called putting asses in seats. So enjoy your flips, your dives, and your 20 super kicks per match. To each their own. I will go dive back into my 13th title run and get ready to flip when my bank statement comes out this month. ... Headlock.
Fuck yeah.
So that's what we're...
Right on.
So I guess we know where you're at.
I agree 100% with him. He's not, that's, what else is there? How can you argue with that?
I just think that the reason why this culture exists, I come from both. Look, I think I can say stuff because I'm an indie promoter. I use a lot of independent guys. Tomorrow I'll be wrestling on House of Hardcore. I'll be running an independent promotion on Saturday.
Yeah.
I have 2 schools. I train with Rip Rogers.
Not a knock on independence. It's like the guys. All it comes down to is selling. If you sold, you wouldn't have to do all that stuff because you would be selling. You're throwing out selling. That's the big issue. I feel like because selling slows everything down. You can still have all the action and things, but you actually just have to find different ways to get there. And it's not just doing every move in the book because everybody can learn every move in the book. That's not.
I think everybody's taking a stance of like, hey, if it's a style, it doesn't matter if people are having fun with it. People are so engaged in, who's correct, who's not.
Yeah.
Is it outdated? Is this in style now? Are these guys wrong because drawing money's another way?
Oh, if you want it to be in style, put it in style, guys. Everybody's careers are going to be much shorter and whatnot. And I look at the ratings. The ratings are telling everything that, like, and granted, there's a lot more TV out there now and whatnot, but the casual people don't think that way. And I always say that that small independent market that's never paid the bills, and it never will. And you can look.
Well, I think that's what it comes down to. I think the reason why all this stuff exists is because independent wrestling as a whole, we're all accustomed to not having these giant houses. I mean, I'm hoping I'll have 1,000 people on the Saturday show I have coming up. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. But I think a lot of these guys are used to going to these crowds where I've been on shows or seen shows with 10 people in the crowd, or a normal crowd's 100 people, and the performers on it all just go, okay, well, there's no people here, so we can't. And the ones going are very, very big wrestling fans. They're not drawing anyone out, so they get competitive and they try to outdo each other. But I think the fundamental problem comes down to promoters, where they're not. A lot of these guys don't have the experience of working in front of families, massive crowds, and it's just how do we compete with each other? How do we outdo what we think is cool?
People are throwing away the basic fundamentals of wrestling in selling every move, outdoing your opponent by selling that move to the best of your ability. That's gone out the window.
Guys don't think that way.
No, guys don't think that way. That's where I'm telling you, it's fucking wrong. Like, it's not. There's a difference between the big leagues and selling to the masses and the farm leagues, and there always will. It's the way it's always been, and it's nothing against it. And like, I'm having the time of my life, but I haven't changed. I'll throw a suicide dive in there, but I'm not doing it after no selling 100 things. Like, it's not a knock on. It's just I think it's gotten out of hand, and I hearing that I agree with Rip and Randy 100% with them, and like Jeff, Hardy was doing the high flying stuff. He's always sold accordingly and stuff. Go back and watch Ricky the Dragon Steamboat and Macho Man. Everyone says one of the greatest matches of all time. Mm-hmm. They sold. That's all. Like,
I think a big problem is that everyone's doing the same type of wrestling. Like, the Young Bucks found their thing, and I think the Young Bucks are more so.
Yeah, they're smaller guys too, and like if they're throwing multiple things, and they're smaller guys. But when everybody just starts doing it, it's not.
I think that they're not really a style. I think they're I don't think the Young Bucks have a style per se. I think that they're a complete package where they have, they appeal to a certain demographic. They're smaller guys. They're a tag team. They're very in sync. Basically, what I'm trying to say is like their persona. It's like they're known for that. Like, it's part of their act.
Yeah.
All the stuff they do. And I think that everybody kind of goes, man, if they're the top thing in independent wrestling, I got to try to be like that.
Yeah.
So everyone's throwing all these things instead of trying to be a little bit different. And I don't know. The one question I saw a couple people asking questions, considering your top 10 list, you had a lot of independent darlings on there. So what do you do with that?
You don't.
Why do you want to work these guys?
You work them, but you don't throw away everything. I could wrestle them and it's fine. It's not. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to go in there and have them no sell fucking 24 arms. It's not going to happen.
So you agree, like, they're all good athletes. They just don't put their stuff.
They're super talented. Everybody's super talented. But everybody can learn any move. That doesn't make you a good wrestler. It's all the little things. It's the psychology of the original rules of the game. It's like you always respect that because the people that came before us created the game. And I'm not talking about Triple H, the game of wrestling. and it evolves in different areas, but all of a sudden it's people being disrespectful to the psychology and the rules of wrestling. Mm-hmm. And and they think because people chant this is awesome because they're throwing away, like, why you're just killing yourself. And it's all supposed to be an art of the illusion of looking like you're killing someone without killing them. And everyone, oh, that's really ironic, Ryback saying that. Outside of Punk, find somebody that says I hurt him. Mm-hmm. Seriously. Like, it's not, they don't understand. And those guys, it's fine. They're all talented.
Do you think a lot of the problems coming, though, what you mentioned before, do you think a lot of it's coming from WWE? I think you said it before, WWE's embracing of, taking the
pushing guys
smarter,
that legitimately couldn't fucking hurt a fly. Like, that doesn't help the business either and stuff. Just like, when did gymnastics make you tough?
Yeah.
I'm serious. It's when did being a gymnastics star make you tough?
Yeah.
It doesn't. It really doesn't. And I get it's entertainment and it all has its place in wrestling. But I think for that to replace actual toughness and the business was built around being real.
Trying to put on a fake real fight.
Yeah, and people, that's why you lose casual viewers, because they don't buy into that, and they never will. When the dads of the children tune in and stuff, they're not appealed by that, but the gymnastics aspect of it, and then guys it's not believable. It's the whole art of it is making it look believable. And that's not enough. That's just my honest take on it. And everyone has their opinion and whatnot. So, I mean, it is what it is. But I agree with Rip and Randy. And guys can still do those things. It's just you don't do it 100 times in one match and then 100 times the next match and 100 times the next match because you think that's what you got to do to show people that you're killing it. And that, why don't you see how fucking good you can put over your opponent's moves and fucking make people believe you're really hurt? When I worked Mike Orlando, I had everybody believing that I tore my hamstring, including Mike Orlando, who I told before the match that I was going to pretend I tore my hamstring, and he still fucking believed I tore my hamstring. Why the fuck not do that?
Guys don't think that way. They think about it, okay, I'll be cool through this offense, then you be cool through your offense, and there's not really a whole lot of, or they may want to take a certain bump every now and then, but I think that does go out the window. People don't really think that.
How about you make your opponent look as good as possible with every single thing that they do? Just another way to think. Improve yourself that way. And I mean this all in a positive light. I think it's up to, because where's wrestling going to be in 5 years? Motorcycle guy going down the road. But
I got the biker gang, yeah.
Legitimately, look at the way the pace is changing on the last few years. Where's wrestling going to be in 5 or 10 years? One bump is now going to be you're going to have to hit a fucking 30-move combo to get a near fall. Mm-hmm. And that's the other thing. Other guys are equating doing near fall trading move back and forth. That this is awesome. That's what, if you look about it, watch matches, and you'll see a match and everything is fine that they're doing, but they'll do 20 near falls back and forth with not a lot of in-between stuff, but just move. And then this is awesome starts breaking out because they're kicking out at 2 a lot. That's all of a sudden awesome.
That's awesome, and it's mind blowing to me that not a lot of heels ever embrace the fact maybe we shouldn't be going for this reaction. I don't know, it's even the ones that are considered I'm not going to bring out names, but if you're a villain on TV and they're chanting "This is awesome," I don't know.
You're not doing your job.
Could you address that? Could you just act like that? I don't know. Just maybe change the dynamic of the room by not letting that happen.
Or everybody in wrestling, just their gimmick being based around being a fucking mark and doing 2 sweets and putting over, I think it's ridiculous. I honestly think it's ridiculous. I really do. I don't get it. Imagine fucking Ryback coming out and fucking boom, doing the fucking little fucking sound thing in the ring. And instead of grabbing the ropes and fight, I just throw up 2 sweets. And fucking, that'll be my big return to WWE when I align with Hunter. Jesus Christ. Corporate big guy, just throwing 2 sweets out just because I'm fucking Mark, guys. I sold out. I want to just kiss ass. I just think it's what the fuck happened to just being, and everyone's like, oh, that's ironic coming from the Goldberg wannabe, which was never, ever a thing outside of what the fucking Marks wanted to believe. But just everyone's pretending to be fucking NWO and DX. I just think it's retarded, quite frankly.
All right.
All right, yeah.
Let's take our first break.
Anger slowly coming out. We'll be right back after this.
Hey everyone, in addition to being the co-host of this podcast, I'm the founder and promoter of WrestlePro. Dare I say, WrestlePro puts on the best professional wrestling live events in the country. We're also fully insured and licensed. Now, if you're listening to the show, then you clearly love professional wrestling, and I appreciate that. But I also have a question for you. Would you like professional wrestling in your area, maybe in your hometown, your high school, your college, your civic center, your stadium? Whatever you want. If you're a civic group, a sports team, a fire department, a police department, if you have a corporate event, a festival, any group that is looking to raise funds or put on an entertaining show, WrestlePro is your promotion. This is not your regular wrestling show. Just in the last year, WrestlePro has brought in incredible talent such as Terry Funk, DDP, Booker T, Ryback, Cody Rhodes, Hornswoggle, Colt Cabana, Brian Cage, Jeff Jarrett, Tommy Dreamer, the Hardy Boys, Scott Steiner, and much, much more. Even the Nature Boy Ric Flair has been with WrestlePro and loves it. Tell him, Nate.
It's the Nature Boy. Woo! Ric Flair, WrestlePro, the Nature Boy, sign an autograph. Look as only he can look. WrestlePro, be there. Woo, 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 woo. Limousine riding, jet flying. Woo! WrestlePro. Woo!
If you're seriously interested, WrestlePro can bring a live wrestling show to your town. A full professional wrestling card complete with talent, 8 matches, sound system, lighting, the works. We design the artwork and posters. We help you sell the tickets. We push all of our events all over our social media. We believe in good repeat business. Packages and prices vary on talent requested and their availability. For more information, contact me directly at WrestleProOnline@yahoo.com or simply check out www.WrestleProOnline.com and you can see our past and upcoming events to get a taste of what WrestlePro is all about. I hope to hear from you soon.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Feed Me More tour continues, and this weekend we got a big one. We got a triple shot coming at you. Thursday, May 25th, Wrestle Jam 5, featuring the big guy Ryback, Vader, Buff Bagwell, Teddy Long, Paul Orndorff, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, and the real Nature Boy, Paul Lee. Meet and greet at 5 p.m., bell time at 7:30 at the Colonnade Civic Center in Ringgold, Georgia. The following night, Friday, May 26th, Northeast Wrestling presents Spring Slam. Meet and greet at 6 p.m., bell time at 8. It's at the Ice Time Sports Complex in Newburgh, New York. We got Booker T, Cody Rhodes, Mandy Leone, the big guy Ryback, Bill Carr, The Now, and many, many more. So come on out. And Saturday, May 27th, Pro Wrestling Empire presents Collateral Damage. Doors at 5 p.m., bell time at 7. It's at the Zembo Shrine in Harrisburg, PA, featuring the big guy Ryback. So come on out, get hungry, and feed me more. And we're back. And I believe it's that time for some, well, we always, all right, I'm a little thrown off here. We were going to do questions, but I feel like we always do reviews when we come back.
Yeah, I think so too. So what do we do, reviews?
Could we do a nice little reviews of the week in there, Eddie? Reviews of the week. I don't know what's the, how that sounds, but a little insert here for reviews of the week.
Let me do my job and pull these up. Fuck, I have so many different files open. I drank a lot of wine tonight. Today's a carb night, pizza night before I wrestle this weekend. And
what kind of pizza?
Oh, it was it's the grandma style, like the big square pizza with sausage and extra sauce. That food's good up here, man. In Queens, we had a.
You go through a whole pizza?
No, man, dude. With this, my appetite shrinks when I eat carbs. So I had like 4 slices, and I had some garlic knots, and I'm done.
You feel good, right?
Yeah. My energy's definitely back. Let me find the reviews. God damn it. The fuck are they? I have the...
How about we do this? Let's go into some tips of the week. Yay.
All right.
While old Buckster there gets that. Guys, book of the week. Eddie, go ahead and insert that in. Tips of the week. Yay. All right. Book of the week this week. Smarter, faster, better. The secrets of being productive in life and business, essentially. It's by Charles Duhigg. I'm still on it, and but it came highly recommended, and it is a book on just being a better you, and I'm digging it so far. So that is my book of the week. Quote of the week, kind of with everything going on in life, in my life, and no matter how it may seem, no one has control of your life but you. Grant Cardone 10X quotes, and I really, really enjoyed that one for the way the last couple of weeks have gone with the whole Amazon situation and everything going on. Workout tip of the week. If there's a hot girl in the gym, don't be a rubbernecker and stare the entire time. You guys are fucking ruining it for me. And nutrition tip of the week. You want to spice up your foods with a... Let me redo this whole one. Jesus Christ. Eddie, edit that out. That was horrible. Nutrition tip of the week. Want to spice up your foods without the added calories? Check out Flavor God Seasonings. They have... I discovered these. I don't know if you've ever tried these. They're on Amazon. But they have they have ranch, just ranch, barbecue, chipotle, garlic seasonings. They probably have like 15 or 20 taco, all these different seasonings to put over your foods. They just enhance the flavor without the calories, and they're pretty good. So it's essentially a way to make your food taste better without eating worse for yourself. That's Flavor God. They're not sponsored. We're not endorsed by them. I have all of them sitting over on my counter, and they're the real deal.
So where we're at here, want to do some reviews?
Let's do some reviews this week and see what we got going on.
Our first review comes from Big Chris 1498, and his little memo, his message says, "Bod Black attracts the black girls." When you recommend that body spray, I went out and bought it for myself, and I love the smell of it. I wore it around my girl. She smelt it. She hopped on top of me so fast I didn't know what to do. Thank you for the great things you've accomplished, and for the ones still in progress. Much love, Big Chris 1498 on Twitter.
Very good. The Bod Spray Black is the real deal. It is legit, and it's just not limited to black girls. I found you. I got a compliment last week on it. I don't know if I was walking on an airplane or so, and she goes, "Oh, you smell good," and I just go, "Thanks." It's just roll the punches.
$7.99.
$7.99 at Walgreens, or get a 3-pack on Amazon. It's they're plastic bottles. They don't break in your suitcase, because I've told you I've had glass bottles shatter because the security just throws your bag around, just like a little bitch, just flops your bag all around, and those glass bottles break every time.
The other review I picked out, which is the only one that came in this week, live reads from Viva La Craca. The best part of this podcast is not the convos or the wrestling stories, but Pat and the big guys' live reads. LOL. It makes the podcast feel real and not scripted. Love the podcast. Look forward to next week's episode.
Well, thank you. It is real. It's not scripted, and we've lost advertisers over just, me telling the truth. So we lost a advertiser, I should say. I don't know if they were going to put any more free plugs in this week on their part, but hopefully not, Eric. Oh, is there more reviews, or is that it? Just 2 this week?
That's all we had for this week. We had another one that was 1 star. I don't know if you want me to read
I do.
that,
I would like for our listeners, I would appreciate the 1 star. Let's give everybody let's give everybody gets a chance over here.
There's quite a bit, quite a bit, but I scroll through them, and I'll mention why later when we have a different segment on this show. But one popped up this week from DHUT87, so DHUT87.
Okay.
Hands down the worst wrestling-related podcast that there is. Ryback is so true for him. All he does is cry about guys who made it in WWE and starts the "why not me?" So to get even, he tries to shoot on them. This guy is a loser. He couldn't even get over with Heyman. If you disagree with him, you're a mark. He is indie-rific. I guess you're indie-rific now.
Sweet.
And and he has a really bad podcast and a really dumb book with an exclamation point.
I think I might know who this is, by the way. The guy made a keep going.
Okay. I think it is too, because I think I saw this one. Don't subscribe to this garbage or buy his steroid-laced supplements.
Hell
of a review.
That says it all right there. That is...
Yeah.
if this is the guy that I'm thinking about, he also left a Twitter comment about my book. The only thing that he was able, I'm glad he bought the book, first of all. Thank you for purchasing the book and contributing to my brand and my message. So if this is the guy that I remember correctly, he left a Twitter response about the book. He was about 2 sections in the book. It was something about the color section and the water conservation section. That if you, did you see that or no?
No, I didn't see that at all.
It was this guy. It was something that if you buy this book, be prepared for an 80-page thing, which there's not 80 pages on colors, which is a section on, it was one of the first things I read on colors, or one of the things that I read that really influenced like me with like on the things that I picked for my WWE outfits, why I chose those and it triggered something for me. That when I was a kid, I liked people based on colors, and Macho Man and Hulk with the red and yellow, and colors have different meanings. Mm-hmm. So and it just felt right to include that in my book. And the water conservation is stuff I got from Arnold and other people, Arnold Schwarzenegger, and on just little tips for helping cutting down on water usage. And I'm thinking, like, what's this guy's deal with? What's his problem with conserving water? Like, how's that? It is colors. Okay, if colors aren't your thing. Like, but the fact that he chose to focus on that out of everything. But it's just, you're going to have people, man, that just, the guy listens to the show. So thank you for listening. I appreciate your feedback. And I hope that you someday find a job that pays you accordingly to your skills. And you continue to have much success in your life, because it sounds like you're doing awesome. So congratulations, buddy. But you're not the fucking winner. because you're a fucking mark, right? Because I don't like you, right? Get it? But yeah, I think I'm going to go with the bod spray. What was the guy's name?
The bod spray review was, Big Chris 1498.
So Big Chris, congratulations. You're the winner. Please send me a screenshot of your iTunes review to the big guy at feedmemore.com with the choice of your supplement. And I'll throw in a free Feed Me More Nutrition shaker bottle as well. And just please leave your name and address that you would like that shipped to, and we'll get that taken care of. Thank you guys for the reviews this week. Even you fucking mark.
You know what? While we're on this, I might kind of ask if we can go to a certain segment right now, and that being, I feel like we should go to court. I don't have the greatest record. I know we save it for later in the show, but I think it's going to be appropriate with the things I have coming up if we go to the big guy's courtroom right now.
You know, you're part of this show, too. This is as much your show as it is mine. So if Attorney Buck would like to go to court, the big guy has no problem. Let me just go ahead and get set up over here. In the world of pro wrestling, there are great fans, and then there are fucking marks. Fucking marks are negative wrestling fans who have let the negative influences of life, society, and the media carry over to their consumption of pro wrestling. They are lost souls whom sole mission seems to make everyone as miserable as them. The following fucking mark is a real-life person whom has been blocked on social media by the big guy Ryback for making a shitty negative comment. Attorney Buck will defend this low-life piece of shit loser in hopes of the big guy Ryback unblocking and giving this fucking mark a second chance at being a great fan. Without further ado, welcome to the Big Guy's Court.
Please rise. The Court of the Big Guy Circuit, fucking Mark Division, is now in session. The Honorable Judge Ryback presiding.
Court is now in session.
All
Attorney
right.
Buck, what do you got for me this week?
So, for this week, now, mind you, I am 0-4, I believe, with representing my clients. And
just takes one to turn it all around. Look at Jinder Mahal, just takes one.
So my client this week is the Marty Young on Twitter. He is
we have a Twitter guy on. We actually have a legit.
We do.
Okay.
And he reached out. He was a new fan of the podcast. I told him, and he mentioned something about being blocked. And I said, well, listen to this episode. We could use you. To which he said, I'm not caught up yet. So I said, whatever. Then he caught up. He wrote to me, and he is now my client. So now, the date of the offense, he doesn't know. He couldn't find it. I asked him, what did he do to get blocked?
Too lazy to go back and look, by the way, just so you know.
So, Your Honorable Big Guy, he mentions that these were the pay-per-views where I believe you were a heel for, and you were working Kalisto. And he claims that he was blocked because he said Kalisto will squash Ryback.
Okay.
I asked for proof of this. Of course, he couldn't find it. Let's a little background information. His profile picture is him in the clouds. There's clouds all around him.
He's a high flyer, I take it.
He's making a hand gesture like a Z. Very, very interesting stuff.
Okay.
And for some reason, it says May 15th. Now, I was like, wait a minute. Did his friend die, or is he, like, announcing? I couldn't tell. I don't know if he's making a debut. I don't know. He says
the date he lost his virginity, or I don't know.
Possibly.
Yep.
To another man. And he also says that he's a trainee with Future Shock Wrestling. So that's always a good sign when someone's training at a legitimate school and they're commenting on pay-per-views. And I went through his Twitter profile.
Did you say he's a tranny at Futures or a trainee?
He's a trainee, not a trainee.
Sorry.
If he was a tranny, we would have cut him a little slack here. But
just checking. All right.
He would have been unblocked immediately. But he's a trainee. And I went through his, because, I take my clients very seriously. So I've been going through his profile, Your Honorable Big Guy, and I've represented the best of the best, trying to do my job as a lawyer to do justice. And
you've done a hell of a job. You were taking on the absolute scum of the world. So even an 0-4 record, though, is pretty damn good still, all things taken into consideration, Attorney Buck.
So in his Twitter profile, he also mentions his whatever it is, where you get to describe yourself. He claims he's a trainee. He's a half of the younger generation invasion. I don't know what that means. And he has the quote.
Is this guy a worker?
Claiming to be in training, even though he tweets divas and comments on wrestling stuff nonstop. I didn't fucking do that when I was in wrestling school.
Yeah, that's weird.
He has a catchphrase, too. It says, haters make me famous.
Yet he's a hater.
Your Honorable Big Guy, I'm going to ask in this court, I've now completely changed my stance. And rather than be the defendant of these pieces of shit, I would like to be the prosecutor and automatically find him and a couple other people. I'd like to prove that they're guilty and give up.
Attorney Buck, this is coming out of left field for me here. This was not what the Big Guy's Court was all about. These people, are innocent until proven guilty, and it is your job to try to get them off the hook. And
yeah.
You're saying that you just think these fucking marks are such pieces of shit that you would rather prosecute than defend.
Not only that, Your Honorable Big Guy, I'm actually looking at a class action thing here where I've gone through iTunes and I've found the shittiest of the shit reviews, which I can read here, and I would like to group all of these pieces of human fucking feces and put them all together and find them guilty in the court of the Big Guy.
Well, there's only one guy that could find them guilty, Attorney Buck, and that's the Big Guy himself. So first things first, what is this fucking Mark's name? And let's go ahead and get this let's get this one squared up right here, right now. I think everybody knows the way this one's going, but I am all for listening to this class action lawsuit from the iTunes reviews for a special edition of the Big Guy's Court. But finish up with the proceedings for your high flyer.
So being a public defendant in the courtroom of the Big Guy Court and defending 4 other people that are now in Big Guy prison. Now there's Marty Young, who I've prosecuted, and my final judgment, or not judgment, excuse me, my final case is that he doesn't really care about being unblocked. He has no proof that, no photo screenshots of what he said. Meanwhile, he can't go back, 2 years to find them. He has no good case.
There's been that many tweets on his account that he cannot go back.
There actually has been. There's been 17,000 tweets, which makes
Holy
you think,
fuck.
Get a job, pal.
Oh,
get some things going for yourself.
Fucking guilty to the highest fucking degree. Fucking guilty, you fucking Mark. Get a fucking job and a fucking life. Fuck you, you're fucking guilty. Oh, That makes me angry. Just 17,000 fucking tweets?
It was something like that where I was like, wow, that's a lot
Jesus,
of tweets.
go get some pussy. Jesus, do something. I don't care. God.
Yeah.
Get out. Oh. That 17,000 fucking tweets. Wow. God, may God have mercy on your soul.
My next piece of shit will be BB MyTunes on iTunes. He gave us 1 star.
I broke my mallet hitting that.
Did you really?
Slightly. Wait, we're okay. Sorry. That guy, I got really angry right there.
Generic and terrible from BB MyTunes. Probably the worst. Well, not the worst. Jim Cornette is possibly the worst podcast.
I like that he can't even stick to what he's going to. The worst. Wait, no, possibly the worst. Holy shit. That's awesome.
He didn't even spell Cornette right. Okay.
No, of course. Pat, this is all for our fun right here, by the way, guys. We're sorry. Usually we won't get this stuff the time of day. These people are so goddamn stupid. This is what people deal. Everybody deals with this stuff that's been on TV or anything. It's always the stupidest motherfuckers, and it's so entertaining. Please read.
And there's been so many good things, too, that we haven't replied to, because we're limited on time. Thank you for the 5-star stuff. We see all of them.
Yeah.
We really appreciate that. But you just come across these fucking awful people. So
feel the need to leave. You have the worst. Wait, okay, not the worst, but you're definitely in my top 5, but I still listen to you every week.
That's what it says. It says probably the worst. Listen to this. Probably the worst. Well, not the worst. Jim Cornette is quite possibly the worst podcast. Okay. The second worst podcast on the market. Ryback is always snorting his snot in the microphone, bumping the mic, and always talks about his stupid roids and talking about how he turned WWE down. Yeah, right. He writes right. Any guy that talks like this should be fucking shot in the face. He writes right. RIIIIGHT. Guys, don't ever do that.
Please.
He also calls people who give him a low rating a fucking mark.
That's true.
Ryback is Ryback's
You're a fucking mark.
Ryback is Ryback's biggest mark, and that's from BB MyTunes, which, mind you, I got a little psychopathic, and then I took everyone's screen name and I did a Google search, and I found out that most of these people are not that young, and they have kids.
Yeah,
a lot of these people.
It's disturbing, either religious or have kids. It's always the same, and anybody out there listening that knows they're listening. Holy shit, that's so true. So
that's my number 2.
When stupid breeds with stupid, you get stupider.
If I can continue on.
Yes. Court is still in session.
Someone just wrote nope as a review, and that's from DQYD. Right. I went into this podcast with an open mind, hoping it'd be insightful and hold a different perspective than what was usually offered to us. Usually offered to us, the wrestling fans. Ryback is egotistical and simply boring. If you try listening to Goldberg's podcast, Who's Next? Expect that times 10.
Wow. Clearly a Goldberg fan. Nothing wrong with that. Which, not really, but,
So there's that. One came in. This is the one that really hits home to me. His review
really? Okay. This is
his review is, I don't like Pat Buck.
Welcome to the club, buddy.
I don't like Pep. And from Jesse James Davidson, you piece of shit. And then I looked up this guy, and the only thing I could find on this guy is that he was in a backyard wrestling movie. There's a character called. So this motherfucker listens to two real men put on a goddamn podcast, and this fucking backyard asshole writes, "I don't like Pat Buck," and then his whole entire review is.
Can you read this?
Yeah. His entire review is at all. That's it. So the headline is, I don't like Pat Buck.
Yeah, no.
At least he gave 2 stars, though. It wasn't a 1-star one, but...
He likes me a little, then. Is that everybody here?
That is not.
Oh, wow. There's more.
So one says review from The P, who... If you want to look up this fucking dirtbag, he's on Twitter. The Pete, I think 2011. I might have cut that part of the review off. If you enjoy listening to two dudes who have to get drunk in order to force themselves to do a podcast that has to be done, then this is for you. Well, you got a point there, pal. Seriously, though, I give this podcast a chance from the beginning, and the only thing good that came out of it...
I'm still giving it a chance. I've been with it the entire time. I'm 38
is
listens in.
Wrestling fans have a drinking game where whenever they mention Smoky Bones, you take a shot. There was more stuff in here. I didn't fucking screenshot it, so...
Okay.
Yeah,
welcome to the club. This is what people that are really down and out in life have time to do, so it's all right.
I think I had one more.
They're all going to be fucking found guilty.
From where it says, "Where are all you marks?" So I thought this would be a good review. From Jace Warner 82. Every time Ryback and Pat sniff to clear their snot and take a drink, they both come off so arrogant.
Thank you. It's called loving yourself. Try it sometimes.
This is nothing but promotion for his supplements.
I've said that from day one.
That's all this is.
I've not read around the fact of that, and I get to hang out and talk to my buddy. How about you show some effort and start your own podcast and put a little effort into your life? Go ahead. Sorry.
That's it. That's it. I try.
Do you have anything to say to it about any of these people? It's sad if you have the time. If something clearly all of them listen to the show, and they're gonna be happy that they got mentioned. I'm sure, because they don't get mentioned in anything else. Sorry, but congratulations, guys! You got a participation ribbon for the podcast.
So I've decided not to be defended anymore. Now a prosecutor, and I'd like to find all these guys. I don't have any pity on them.
Well, the big guy Ryback for this class action lawsuit through iTunes on Conversation with the Big Guy. Find all these fucking marks fucking guilty. Court is adjourned. That was an easy one this week. But it's cool. People are allowed to have their opinions and whatnot. It's unfortunate we got people like that in this world. So,
just having fun with them.
Have you ever gone on anything and left negative things like that on people's?
Never.
Yeah, everybody.
Who has time?
Who has
fucking time?
We clearly know who has time. But, it's just one of those things. What can you do?
Okay, so from here, we did have some questions. I could pull those up.
I love questions. I think questions are always very interesting.
Let me pull those up right here.
We have no list for this week. No list. I threw you I tried to do the top 10 flattest asses in wrestling history, and I could tell you weren't thrilled about that one. So that would have been pretty funny to me.
I didn't know if that was a real thing. I don't know how to.
Great Khali, flat ass. There's a lot of guys with just flat asses out there that I thought it would have been made for an interesting. Maybe down the road we could throw that in there. That all came to me. Yoshitatsu judging guys' asses in the locker room. That was a real thing that I told you about before. That goes on up there. That went on up there, and I always thought that would make for an interesting list.
We got questions. A lot of them are pretty fucking boring. Hey, Ryback from Mr. Biz.
Way to set this up.
Sorry. These guys are, they're kind souls, but Mr. Biz tweets on Twitter, when will you be back in WWE? Positive thoughts.
True story. I got 2 phone calls today from Boca Raton, Florida, Boca Raton.
Okay.
I was at home doing something on one of them, and then I was at the gym on the other. And I forget what was it for. I don't even know what it was for. I think it was just some promotional thing. But in my head, it was just I pictured Vince in his Boca Raton home, and that 'cause he used to train. He has a house down there or something. I'm like, oh, he's calling me, and I was like, oh, this should be an interesting voicemail, and it's not. And I pick it up on the second one or the third one. They called a lot today, and it was some promotional thing for some vacation thing, and I was just like, Jesus Christ. But no, not anytime. Not even on the. I wish them nothing but the best and all the performers there. So, just not happening right now.
From Zane, never shuts up 7 on Twitter. How do you personally deal with something serious like depression, paranoia, or anxiety?
You got to find things that you love doing. Like everything, there's things going on that I'm not happy about right now and whatnot, and I'm limited on what I can do and with letting the shoulder heal and whatnot. But I could still go to the gym. For me, working out gives me great pleasure, and like doing things like cardio and just exerting myself however I can. But essentially, and like for me, it's finding things that I love that make me happy and just surrounding myself with that. So like my dogs make me happy. So I'm around my dogs a lot because they make me happy. So you have to find things. You have to know what makes you happy, find those things, and then concentrate on those things as much as possible and block out. The negative things are always like, 'cause when negative things are going on and you're down and you're out, you're just not going to be happy. But if you can try to put yourself around things that do make you happy, it will help get you through those tough times as much as possible. And and you never want to turn to drugs and alcohol as a way to remedy, to try to find a cure, because that will never cure the problem. So focus on things that make you happy, whatever that is. Only you can answer that, and really try to concentrate on that.
And for myself, there's been times I've been on antidepressants before. I don't know if it's genetic. I believe everyone gets depressed. I feel like some points you got to kind of fight through it.
Yeah, I think doctors will try to like, oh, you're depressed, like, and make it. It's a regular you can go through depression every day at different points it's a natural human emotion. Like, it's called being sad. Like, it's just yeah. You
just can't let it sit, let it or make you sit there in a rut. You just got to kind of barrel through. But one thing that helped me out, because I'm really happy with where I'm at right now. I'm a married man. I got things going well for me. Got this great award-winning podcast. But one of the things
we're actually doing fairly well on this, which we'll talk about. But
yeah, I was really happy with certain, and hopefully the future looks really fucking bright.
Yeah, I think this next year is really big for us. So because we're sitting pretty well with everything, with the way things are going. So.
But one thing that helped me that's really big, and I'm a big secret guy too, is that the whole concept of the gratitude rock, that story that was in there.
Yep.
So basically the story goes that, Secret tells it better, where the concept is, I'm not going to get into the background story of it, but basically find an object. Next to my bed, I actually have 3 different things. And it used to be just a rock I found outside. Smooth, feels decent in your hand. And before you go to bed at night,
what are the other? You have 3 things by your bed: a rock, a Ryback figure, and what else?
Fuck, I was trying to think of something. I was going to say, when you set me up for that, I was going to say John Cena figure.
I can beat you to the punch.
But then you said I was like, fuck, I can't say John Cena figure now.
That would have been even funnier, Ryback and John Cena on a gratitude rock.
So, ironically, and I'll tell you what I got into. So anyway, the whole theory behind it, have something that feels good in your hand before you go to bed. Just have that in your hand, close your eyes, and think about one, even if you're having the shittiest day, think about one good thing. Go through your whole day and think about everything, but focus on the stuff that was decent. And it could be something as simple as a good meal, or, I don't know, you took a decent shower, you somebody made you laugh. It could be something so small. It could be that you found $20 on the floor. It could be something huge. You got a promotion.
Hell of a beat-off session with Dr. Carver's shave butter earlier in the day.
Stuff like plenty of those. Things like that. Like, no matter how shitty your day is, you can find one thing a day to focus on. Think about how it made you feel, and then go to bed. And like, I did that for a while, and now I actually do it with 3. I have a poker chip next to my bed where I won a lot of gambling one time. So I'll do like a financial goal, I'll do a health goal, and I'll do a kind of a wellness goal, but or just a feeling or a memory or something that happened that day that you can kind of just focus on. And it's the last thing you think about right before you hop into bed. But that always kind of helped me, and that's one thing I've been doing consistently for since I read the book, and it's always been worthwhile to me.
That's a really, really good, I like that a lot. I don't think that's something I've never done, something by the bed.
Really?
Yeah. And I think you just actually maybe triggered me I actually already know what I'm going to put over by it. That's pretty cool. I like that. That's something I haven't done yet. So that's great advice.
Yeah. Thanks. I know a lot of people like pray, and that's my version of prayer. I don't say like, dear God or anything like that, but I just kind of focus on the good things and go to sleep.
I always go to bed really easily. So like I've never had to, but like I literally go to bed and I put my meditation on it and I'm out within Honestly, usually under a minute.
Wow.
So that's from I do and I actually have it on my website on feedmemore.com, Holosync meditation. I have the link on there. That's the meditation I use. I've been doing that for years now. It's custom meditation. They have my own customized affirmations on it, and I've not to say if I drank a pot of coffee before bed, I'm going to be wired. But like if I don't, when I have control over, like when I'm doing good throughout the day, I can go to bed really, really quick. Like, and I'm out. Put on the meditation, and it's a beautiful thing. So, but I like having something by your bed that makes you feel good. That is really that's great advice. I'm impressed. I did not get. Is that from The Secret? Because I didn't get.
Yeah, that was a story of like the guy. Something
was that was in the Magic book, maybe, or no?
No, that was because it's in the video too.
Oh yeah, about the gratitude rock. So
yeah,
but I never that never got caught in my brain about putting
like a positive thought. Yeah,
like I've done the positive thoughts before bed, but never putting anything by my bed to trigger those thoughts. Like that's I really like that a lot. I already know what I'm putting over there, so it's awesome.
Batista action figure.
Jesus Christ. Big Dave's killing it in the movies. Congratulations. He's doing awesome.
That was a hell of a... Did you see part 2? It was great. Very good movie.
No, me and Priscilla were going to go to a movie the other day. We went and, on Mother's Day, even though she's not a mother, but we went in, down to the Aliante casino that's not far from me, and they have a really nice steak and seafood restaurant, and had a nice dinner, and we were like, oh, should we go to the movies? And there was really nothing out, and I go, Guardian of the Galaxy 2, but I have the first one that I bought on Vudu, and I never really, I'm not into, like, I ordered it while I was up there in WWE, and like, just didn't pay attention during the whole movie. And it wasn't,
good.
Is it really good?
It's great. It's one of the best Marvel movies by far.
Is it really?
Yeah, by far.
Didn't get hooked. I'm going to have to, okay, so I will give it a chance and watch and pay attention from beginning to end. Because for whatever reason, I had something else going on and I just didn't get caught. I just never, I wish I would have watched it from the beginning. So yeah, I got to give that a chance.
Cool. Another question we had on here from Cody Mada on Twitter. Good protein bars or cookies?
Quest protein bars. There's certain flavors that don't use aspartame or sucralose. I know the strawberry cheesecake, the double fudge chocolate, I believe, and there's a banana muffin and a cinnamon that do not use aspartame or sucralose. That are really, really good, and the rest of them do. So I would stay away from those ones for having aspartame or sucralose. Cookies the Lenny's, I think it's the Lenny's protein cookie.
Yeah,
is really, really good. I don't. You're better. So those things on as far as I don't eat a lot of those. I actually had a carb day the other day and had one of those protein cookies, a peanut butter Lenny's cookie. I hadn't had one in months. But I try not to eat those. When I was on the road before WWE, I would always bring a box of Quest bars with me. Because you never know when you're going to, and I always had my protein and everything. But I try not to eat those things. I don't have any at home. I don't eat them when I'm home. Real food is superior to those things. So, but they are the next best thing. But there's a lot of bad ones out there too. But those Quest ones I named are usually pretty good. And the Lenny's cookies, if you have one here or there, if you're in a pinch, it's not horrible. So,
just be careful with the Lenny's and Larry's. Like, there's one flavor, Snickerdoodle, which is triple the amount of sugar compared to the other ones.
Is it really?
It's like tastes incredible, but you look at it and it's like, wait a minute, there's 60, 70 grams of sugar on this one cookie.
Yeah, what you got to look for too on labels is serving size. Everyone just assumes it's one. Sometimes it'll be 2, 3, or 4. Not saying the cook, but on different things, and it might say 6 grams of sugar, and you're like, oh, that's not too bad. But it's 4 servings, and you're getting 24 grams. You know what I mean? You have to pay attention to that stuff.
And the cookie does that too. It's 2 servings, and it's 26 carbs. It's oh shit, no, it's actually 52 carbs.
Which for those things, they should put the serving size. I feel that's very deceiving.
It is.
And supplement, that's just something I feel like you should put on something like a cookie, put the whole serving size. If they want to eat half, they'll eat half. Don't put, I just think that's kind of shady. But
this one place I go every week before I go train the guys at Creator Pro, it's a smoothie place, and they have like a lot of healthy wraps. So I always get a buffalo chicken wrap. Occasionally I get now I'm getting the buffalo chicken salad. And, their shakes, they use, I knew they weren't that super healthy, but I knew they weren't that bad. And then I saw the nutritional information. I was like, holy fuck, 100 grams of sugar. It was like 112 grams of carbs.
yeah,
It was like 30 grams of fat. It was like 4 grams of protein. I'm like, holy shit, I'll never go here again.
and it just ruins you. Those things, they go by taste on that, and they're just, the majority of people will never question it. And it's, but people that are like in tune with their bodies and then wake up the next day and they got Ric Flair love handles. What the fuck? It's my favorite analogy for love handles is Ric Flair and Razor Ramon. Two guys that were in incredible shape, but if you ever look at them, they always had love handles.
I never noticed that with Razor. I'm gonna look at that.
Go
now.
back. I remember. I'll never forget. I was such a weird little kid, man. I would pick up little things like that.
That is weird.
Yeah, it's totally weird. On pay-per-views, I remember he'd always wear different colors on the pay-per-views. And
Sure.
I think he had one where he got like green trunks for one of them with the little
Yeah,
razor
the
blades.
green and gold. Yeah.
And it was green or the purple, one or the other. And I think it was the green. And you could tell they made the trunks just a tad too small, and they were really cutting into him deep. And he was hanging over a little more. And I was like, did he get fatter? But I remember like the next week it wasn't as bad. So unless he saw it too, and then like, man.
I remember when I was little, I used to go to a lot of events, a lot of shows, and I'd make signs, but I wouldn't make them on big pieces of paper. I would just draw them on.
You actually drew signs.
Oh yeah, man.
Really?
Oh sure.
That
But,
never even crossed my mind. Like I wouldn't
No?
even. I wouldn't even like. No, not at all.
So it started off where I'd draw them on.
I was embarrassed enough going to the shows.
I was happy to be there. I had them on like computer paper, regular 8x10 paper, and I would draw. My big thing was drawing the actual matches. So if it was like Macho Man versus, I don't know, Bad News Brown, I would actually draw them and just hold it up. And nobody would see the sign, but that was just what I did as a kid. But I remember like I drew the whole entire card, and I remember my mom going like, yeah, you may not want to bring those. I'm like, why? What's wrong with my drawings? And she's like, well, apparently I drew them pretty poorly, and all the guys looked like they had tits. Like they were all like,
yeah.
And I was like, they have chest muscles, but it just looked like every single guy had boobs.
Had tits, yeah.
And I was like, all right, and I gave up, and
Your drawing
draw
skills
anymore.
are like mine. I drew the same way. I had horrible, that's one thing. People that have that artistic ability to draw, I've always admired because I've just never, I don't know how, I used to color all the time with like my sister and for school and have to draw, but I just never, it was just something I was never, that's not my thing. I wouldn't, like if you told me you could send me to art school for the next 5 years, and I feel like you would be very, very unsatisfied with what you got out of that. Like it would be a stick figure with tits after 5 years.
Very cool. So one thing I said I was going to do in this show, I get a lot of emails from.
Do we have any more
people-
questions or no? Is that it?
That's all I got. All the other ones are like WWE this,
Yeah, okay,
WWE that.
Yeah.
But I had, a couple things where people would write to me, and I mentioned this last episode, and I'd read a couple of them too. About the ones that want to enter wrestling school, the good ones and the bad ones. So I figured make an interesting piece if I just kind of go through stuff like that.
Okay.
So I got this one, ironically, before we started recording. I got this one tonight, which I thought was really crazy. I was like, wow. So this is a, to be continued one. This guy wrote to me. Maybe I'll leave his name off in case he does sign up.
Yep,
So
I
I'll
think
get.
that's smart.
And he writes to me, we'll just call him Mr. E. Okay, Mr. E. Mr. E. My wife and I had our first child after years of trying. Now, mind you, I don't know this person.
Yeah.
This is on the Wrestle Pro training school part. My wife and I had our first child after years of trying. And as he sat on the couch one day after a feeding, we started watching Rocky Balboa. Fate must have had intervened. The scene where Rocky tells his kid what life's all about resonated with me now more than ever. For many years, well, not too many years, I was a spectator in life. Now I see the promise of tomorrow again in the eyes of my son, and I know tomorrow is now. I am a Rahway native and have a sense of destiny as your school has come to the little corner of the universe. I will be at this Saturday show and like the chance to meet you. See you at bell time. So I guess this guy wants to sign up to be a wrestler, and it's his destiny now, and he lives in the same town, but let's see where this goes, because the ones that normally come in like this are the first ones out the fucking door.
See you at... So wait, he plans on... He wants to join the school, but he's going to meet you at bell time?
Well, I guess because I have a show this Saturday,
yeah.
He plans on seeing the show and probably wants... Here's the thing, too. A lot of people will be like, hey, can I talk to you at the show? I want to be involved. And it's like, yeah, this is the worst fucking time to talk to me. I got to run an event. But
yeah, absolutely.
He wants to go and potentially talk to me about, I don't know, joining the school or whatever.
All right. We'll see what happens. Maybe he'll do a run-in during your match and throw 10 super kicks.
So I had a good example of a person that wrote to me, and I was like, that's what I want to read first. Like, if you want to join a school, these are the people. I'm like, that's a really nice email. If I can just find it. Oh, good evening. My name is John. I'm a medically retired U.S. Army combat veteran and current federal correctional officer. I've loved pro wrestling since I was 6 years old, but I never pursued it as a career. After stumbling upon your website, I felt like a kid on Christmas morning. On top of that, your academy is not too far from where I live. A couple questions. Is there an age limit? Do you offer any military discounts? Any information would be helpful. Thank you. Respectfully, gives his name.
Okay.
And, I answered him. That's a normal, hey, I'm inquiring. Great email, which I was like, okay, that's what I'd love to get. Then I get this one from DZZ Nuts ZZ. I've been...
Hell of a name. All right.
I've been a wrestling fan once I was a kid. I did MMA in high school till about 20, and I would love to train to become a pro wrestler, but I lie, should be live, but I lie in Hawaii, and there's no opportunities are spelled wrong. Here, is there dorms that I could stay at where to train at Creative Pro, because some MMA gyms have dorms for their fighters. If you respond... please. And then I didn't respond. And then he wrote to me.
You didn't respond that you have a place for him at your house with you and Lauren?
I get a lot of international stuff. Like, do you have dorms? I'm like, I don't have dorms. I'm like,
let him live in your closet.
I thought about renting a house in Rahway because there would be enough interest.
Oh, absolutely. You would actually, if you rented a house, be able to completely keep that filled all the time.
Yeah. I think people would come and I could be a landlord, but it's like, can you imagine having a house, having a property?
Nope.
And then it
will make your life it'll be a headache.
They probably party all the time. You go to collect rents. There's some issue. One of them dies. One of them's fucking doing something bad. Just not something I want to focus on.
Yeah.
So mind you, I didn't answer this. The next day I wake up. I'd like to
Unless I rented a house over there and rented it out and set really strict fucking rules and made sure that if they fuck up the house, I'm going to fuck them up and wreck their lives. Which might be a good opportunity. We're looking forward to that. Keep going.
And also, his profile picture is him smoking a cigarette, like he's cool.
Sweet.
So he wrote the next day, I'd like to be the next Finn Balor or Prince Puma or Shinsuke Nakamura or even Shibata. And then he sent me a video clip of ECW for no reason. And then I wrote to him, I said, look, man, put the cigarette down, learn how to spell, show some respect. Don't come here, find another school. And I blocked him.
Very good. That feels very appropriate.
Another man, his name was Davian Glenn. I'll say his name because this guy's retarded. So, sorry, but this guy...
I don't know what it is.
Crazy people write on into fucking Creative Pro and Wrestle Pro.
Oh, it's everywhere. It really makes you sometimes wonder where we're living in this world, the messages that we get.
So this guy sends a message. He just goes, give me a shot. That's it. That's all he writes. Give me a shot. So I write back, a shot at what? and he sends a picture of himself in a locker room sitting down shirtless,
of course,
with holding his hands in his head like he's like frustrated, and he wrote, "To wrestle, I will destroy any of your wrestlers."
It's fake, buddy, just so you know.
And I was like, what does this guy want? Like, is this a role play? And I wrote, okay, you got it. I have a wrestling school. It's in Rahway. All of our wrestlers are trained. The cost is $200 a month or $500 for 3. Here's the website. See you at practice. And then he writes, are y'all connected with the WWE? And then I said, look, I'm not going to go back and forth with any emails. If you want to train to be a wrestler, check out the website. Have a good day. And he wrote back, very, very nasty. Never mind.
In other words, he doesn't want to do it and doesn't have the money.
No, he just...
Yeah.
And then here's the thing, though. These are outsiders never doing it before, but the worst emails are the ones that are already pretending that they're in wrestling, and write these fucking crazy resumes and don't do that. If you're trying to get booking somewhere, no promoter wants to read your fucking resume. Write it in a sentence, send one video, one picture, be like, hey, I'm just looking for any opportunity. Don't send these like this guy here. His name is Panther Rodriguez. I was trained in strong style, lucha libre, European, and American. Jesus. To all promoters, here's my info. Pass this along if you can. Here's my wrestling info. I've wrestled for... And he names all these promotions.
Yeah.
Literally, he names 20 promotions. I was trained by a junior heavyweight champion, Chief Bobby Bold Eagle, a.k.a. Chief Whitefeather. He's on Wikipedia and obsessed with wrestling websites. All I wrote back to him, because he wrote in all capital letters, I just wrote, stop yelling at me. And he wrote back, no one is yelling. I am typing. And I never told. And then I blocked him. So that's just kind of the examples of stuff that I get on a daily basis that comes through my email accounts.
That is no surprise to me whatsoever. We actually shared a laugh this last week. We could read these at a future, maybe next week's episode, of the guy that wanted to private wrestle me.
That's right.
Which I thought was, why don't we take a break? I will pull those up. And we will share that to go home with for this week's show, because I think those were just so people know kind of what we go through every week.
Just the overall fan feedback, because there's the negative ones, the positive ones, the delusional ones, and then there's the fucking these type of guys. So yeah, we'll be right back.
We'll be right back.
Hey, it's Pat Buck again, and I'm going to bug you again. Why haven't you signed up for Blue Apron yet? The Blue Apron gods have given you this opportunity to sign up for this amazing fresh ingredient service, and you haven't done it. Why not? They got a variety of recipes every single week. You can customize it so you don't get bored, or maybe you're allergic to something. You can avoid that. You can get delicious meals like salmon piccata with orzo and broccoli, vegetable chili, and baked sweet potatoes with crispy tortilla strips. If you don't like that, change it. They have other delicious stuff coming to you every single week. You won't even have to prepare for dinner. The box is there, fresh ingredients, everything's beautifully placed together, instructions so you can follow it. I went to 4 years of culinary school. I still have no idea what I'm doing, but I can do that with Blue Apron. BlueApron.com/conversations with an S. 3 free... God, I almost made it through. 3 free weeks of meals with free shipping. Again, you'll love how good it feels, how it tastes. Blue Apron. BlueApron.com/conversations. A better way to cook. Enjoy the rest of the show.
All right, we're back. And boy, do we have a real closer for this week's show.
A real sexy closer.
A real sexy closer. This is as sexy as it gets, guys. As you know, Pat gets his fair share of odd messages, but the big guy does as well. And I was in Tennessee this past week, and I messaged you, old Buckster, and I sent you a screenshot of the opening line here of a message in which you told me, keep this going. and I could not refuse, because it was just too good. And so I got a message from Tom Flo. I don't know if that's his real name. I would imagine it's not. In which the message is...
This is email? Or
yeah, email.
Okay.
Email at the website. Can I hire you to do private heel / squash job on me? Could I hire you to do private heel/squash job on me?
Okay.
Thank you. From Tom Flo. In which
harmless, not too bad.
Harmless, nothing too sexual or anything. But he obviously wants the Ryback's Rules character to come on in the singlet and job him out. Is that a real thing? I guess that like people like we've talked about with the Wizard. That's like a real thing with guys. They like there's people out there that just like to be punished.
Yeah, that I guess they
They don't want a dick in their ass or anything like that, but they just want to be punished.
Just want the shit kicked out of them, and they want to be thrown around. Apparently,
people with money, and they just want to be in a position of like just being humiliated,
yeah,
and just tormented. And Tom Flo apparently is one of these guys. So I sent private squash matches start at $25,000.
All right.
In which Tommy Smith is his name, I guess, actually. Tom Flo, I don't know. That's Tommy Smith is the email name.
Okay, it's his worker name.
His worker name, Tommy Smith. Would you be willing to do real damage? What are your limits? I'm looking for the other. He says, I want to be punished. So he's really, really getting into this here. In which I said, yes, you will have to retire after this. PayPal is, in which I gave him the PayPal information.
Mm-hmm.
Are you serious? I don't want any cameras or anything, and neither do I, buddy. Would you pay you just to work me over and hold after hold? No limits. You set the limits. How much damage could you do with a move like the camel clutch?
This guy's pants are off already.
He's already beating off during these messages. In which I reply, half deposit required along with booking information. Iron Sheik doesn't have shit on my clutch.
You're just see now you're giving into it, and he's loving it. You're giving him what he wants.
I'm going off of getting podcast material
for
this, so
of course
I want to keep this going as long as I've not heard back from him since we've not talked at the end of this, but I'll gladly pay for this. Are you strong enough to break ribs with your bear hug? More? ? What's the most damage you could do? Tom. Sorry. In which I reply, upon deposit, level of damage can be discussed. My ultimate fantasy would be to put you in either a headlock or leg scissors on my head and have you go no limits. Could I pay you to break it? Are you strong enough to do that? Tom. This is it's getting intense. Hold on. I'm looking. He wrote a second message before I could even reply on this one. Would you break ribs with your bear hug for $5,000? Tom.
Who wouldn't? Fuck. Yeah.
Yeah. My reply was, deposit must be made for details. I broke Punk's ribs for a Hooters gift card. So $5K more for sure. In which he replied, backwards? This would have to be 100% private. What's the most damage I could pay you to do to me? Tom. In which I could not reply after that.
You were done.
I was done after that. Obviously, and I even told you, I go, this guy's jerking off over these messages, in which you laughed at me. But this is just some of the shit that we get every week from people. Usually it's deleted and blocked. But old Tom, I put him over. Not that way, but just in responding to his messages. And that's what we got out of it. You know, Tom Smith, welcome to the podcast.
So on that...
You ever get... You ever get anything like that or no, besides wizard shit?
Well, that was the best run of my life, was through a guy that, was a fan of Full Nelson's, which is on an old episode.
I should redirect him to actually contact you for all bookings so that you can follow up with this.
I will.
And we could keep the fans informed if I have to take this book.
Hey, if it pays, it pays.
$25K. That's a good little payday for you on that. But, yeah, we wanted to close with that, and that's all I got this week.
I think that's all I got, too. If you want to, follow me on all platforms, Buck Never Stops, WrestleProOnline.com, a lot of shows coming up, and CreativeProWrestling.com. Plenty of shows coming up. Leave a review on iTunes, rank, review, subscribe, and thank you for your support.
Guys, I'm Ryback22 on Twitter, the big guy Ryback22 on Instagram, Ryback247 on Snapchat. Check out FeedMeMore.com this week. I am in Ringgold, Georgia on Thursday, Newburgh, New York on Friday, and Harrisburg, Pennsylvania on Saturday. All of those details are on FeedMeMore.com or my official Facebook page. And you guys can find out the details of all that, of where the upcoming shows. I'm going to be doing meet and greets and signings and probably in-ring promos this week for the upcoming week. Thank you guys for listening. You have just listened to another episode of Conversation with the Big Guy.